This is Celluclay. You'll notice that it's kind of a powdery mixture. I took some of that and mixed it with some water. Once I've got my cardboard piece, put my name on the back, and with a very light layer, take the Celluclay and start spreading it over the paper. You'll also notice that I grabbed a scrap piece of construction paper because some of the Celluclay that reaches off to the edge of the paper will get stuck or stick to that construction paper piece. And so I just tried to make sure that once I had my thin layer, I placed that on there, and then I'm going to start making my fossils onto the cardboard piece. So again, it's cover it completely with a thin layer of Celluclay, and then take some of that Celluclay and start adding on some different shapes that can be used as bones or fossils. The idea sheet may help you. Now once I've got my layer of Celluclay and my shapes created, you'll notice that I sped it up quite a bit. This task is not easy, so just be patient with yourself, be calm, and take your time. And I just had a little bit of Celluclay left over, so I thought I'm going to take a small piece and make something else. And so I just wanted to show you a couple of different techniques and ideas that you can use with Celluclay. I didn't have a ton left over, and I just felt like I wanted to use it up and once again illustrate thin layer of Celluclay, cover the cardboard so you don't see it anymore, get all the way to the edges, and once you have your thin layer of Celluclay, start making your shapes and designs right onto the cardboard. Okay, so you'll notice that I'm not making a shape and then just sticking it on. I try to make the shape onto the Celluclay. I didn't have a ton left over, so I thought maybe something real small. If you do like what I just did and move enough of the Celluclay over that you don't see the cardboard, just go ahead and slide it around a little bit so that it's completely covered with Celluclay. Let me tell you some benefits of working with Celluclay. One, it's super lightweight. When this stuff dries, it is not heavy. The second thing that's pretty cool about it is it gives amazing texture. Like no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't make a really soft, smooth surface. Celluclay will give you a very cool texture. Let this dry. Once it's dried, it looks a lot lighter. Okay, all of the water has been evaporated out, and grabbing some of those neutral colors, I started taking my my browns, my whites. Oh, here it is. This is where it's sticking to the construction paper. Had to peel that off a little bit, and some of the tissue or some of the construction paper stuck to my project, so I just tore that off. Tear as much of that construction paper that you don't need. Just tear that off. Okay, so in my next step, I just started taking some paint and started painting a base layer onto the project. You'll notice you kind of have to move it around a little bit because it's so full of texture that my brush is moving in different directions to make sure that it's completely covered and you don't see the gray. Okay, when you get your washing pan and you want to switch colors, wash out your brush really good, dry it, and then you'll be able to dip it into a new color and start painting that as well. All right, so now that I've got a base color of brown and I've used white for my fossils, I'm going to show you what you can do. Instead of leaving it as two solid colors, try adding some different colors to make it look more earth tone or more realistic, more natural. So when you think about dirt, it's not just one solid piece of dirt, especially when you think about archaeologists that do fossil digs. I think it's pretty cool to start adding in some different earth tone colors into your project as well. The other cool thing about having a base coat of brown is it already changes the color of your oranges and yellows naturally. I also wanted to darken it up a little bit while my paint is still wet. My colors can start mixing together to give it a little bit more of a darker earth tone color. I'm going to do this again all the way around the sides, and like I said, just adding some colors together so it's not just one solid color, but you're getting some really nice natural colors, making it a little bit more ancient and a little bit older. Now, in my next step, instead of leaving the bones pure white, I highly encourage you to take some of that paint that's still on your brush, and while it's dry and you don't have a lot of paint on your brush, drag it over top of the white so that it looks or has that appearance of, gosh, these fossils are kind of old. They actually have more of a natural texture to it. And again, you're not going to have a ton of a ton of paint onto your brush. It's more of a dry brush technique of taking that brush that has little to no paint on it and dragging it over the white so that it has more of a natural appearance. You'll notice I'm going back to the wet paint, adding it a little bit more if I run out, and dragging that over top of the white areas to make it look like it's actually been found in the ground. What an amazing project that looks like I'm a paleontologist. Another idea, the heart that I created, I went ahead and I did some white highlights, some black shadows, and it really, again, gives great texture and cool ideas into this amazing material. Thanks for watching. Have fun.